Hi, and welcome to another episode of In and Around Abington. My name is Alex Bazanton, and I'm your host. We do this weekly program so that we can highlight events, people, nonprofits, and anything that might be of interest to the residents in and around Abington. If you have an idea for a show or would like to be a guest on this show, please contact me via email at alexbazanton@yahoo.com. Today's guest is Tim Chapin. Tim is a selectman in the town of Abington, and he's been in office for almost a year. Welcome, Tim.
Alex, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. First of all, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, your family?
Well, my name's Tim Chapin. I'm a member of the Board of Selectmen, like you said. I ran for election last year, so I'm coming up on my first year on the board. Married, I have 4 kids. We live in Abington, obviously, up on Center Ave, and me and my wife have been together for coming up to 10 years now. And we both born and raised, grew up in Abington.
Great. And your son, Axel.
Axel,
I see here,
yes, the little 2-year-old that he's well known at the urgent health care on Bedford Street. So shout out to them. They're always stitching him back up.
Cute little guy.
Yeah.
So you've lived in Abington your whole life, you said?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I was born in Abington, lived there till I was 28 years old, and I slipped up and moved out of town for 2 years, but soon realized my mistake, and we actually moved to Hanson, in a wonderful neighborhood in Hanson, but it just didn't have the same sense of community as Abington.
Abington really does have a great sense of community, and I see that through our HUG Foundation and the Christy Coombs Foundation, or the Jeff Coombs Foundation with Christy, and the Vasilian and the Jeremy Russell. I mean, they really seem to come together. I see that happen in other towns, but Abington seems kind of special when it comes to that type of thing.
It really definitely is. I mean, at a young age, I learned that when my brother was diagnosed with childhood leukemia at the age of 2 years old.
Right.
And, you know, every Friday night, ring the doorbell rings, you open it up, there's another casserole there.
Yeah,
because they knew my mother was in the hospital all day with my brother.
Right,
and, you know, without asking. And that's those things the community here in Abington, they still do. We
it
still
really
stand
is.
together.
Abington is a special place. And around Abington, we love them too, but Abington is a special place. So, did you go to Abington schools? Or?
I went to St. Bridget's.
Okay.
I went there for K through 8, and then I graduated Cardinal Spellman in 1997.
Okay. My son went to Spellman. He went to through 8th grade here, and then went to Spellman for 4 years after that. He loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
It was another small community.
But we didn't have the nice new $95 million school back then.
This is true. If we had this school here, I definitely would have stayed.
Yeah,
here.
and I think Brian would have too. I really do.
Yeah,
I think that's
probably
attracting people to Abington now. There's a lot of new construction going on up off of Route 139 and other places, and I think it's attracting.
The school system's the number one, decision maker for a lot of young families buying homes. So sure.
So you are a selectman. You're just finishing up your first year. How's that going?
It's been eventful at times and quiet at times. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. I've loved meeting all the new people, and I'm still learning a lot. I mean, you know from being a selectman yourself that it really is a learning curve when you first begin.
It really is.
And,
you really need more than one term.
Well, God willing.
Yeah, you really do though, to get. You know, when I was a selectman, we started the Abington Substance Awareness Coalition, and you know, there were other things I wanted to do as a selectman, and as you know, I decided not to run for a second term. But you know, I've talked to you about that, and I've talked to Jim Conley and Kenny about that. One thing is I see now is the parks and playgrounds. We have a lot of parents that are upset over that, and we know our highway department is way overtaxed. They just can't handle anymore. So, you know, I think that's something we need to look at over the next few years on how we're going to expand the highway department or the park and rec.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe we put more people back with the park and rec and have them take care of the parks or something.
I mean, maybe just give the park and rec a budget they can work with. I mean,
exactly.
Right now they have no budget, and there's not much. You know, their hands are tied there.
Yeah.
The commission is full of good people that just want to do the best for town, and they're just not given the resources yet. So, hopefully we can. I mean, CPA's coming up with all these great ideas for new parks and everything, but we don't have the means to take care of the ones we have. I mean,
Right.
before we build new ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure we need new ones. One idea that I had, and I think I spoke to you about this, is maybe doing an inventory of all the parks and playgrounds and basketball courts and everything, and find out what it's going to cost to fix them. We could bond that money and then pay it back over a period of 10 years with CPA funds.
Right.
So, you know, I'd like to see the selectmen maybe get involved in that over the next year or so. And I know Rick Collins from the planning board is looking into the parks. And at your last meeting, there were some upset parents from the baseball. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little League was adventurous last year. You know, there was a lot of emails back and forth on, you know, why can't our grass be cut, you know, as nice
Yeah.
as other fields. I mean, one of my side gigs, I'm a baseball umpire, and I'm all around the South Shore. So I see baseball fields all over the South Shore. And when they say Arnold Park's one of the worst, they're not lying. And that's not right, because we deserve better. The people in town
we
deserve
do.
better.
We do. And the parents are paying to register their kids for these sports, and we need to find a way to take care of these parks. It's not all about Plymouth Street, you know,
No.
that seems to get all the attention. Most of the kids don't play on Plymouth Street. I know my son didn't when we were involved. We played
I
at
was never
Arnold
lucky
Park.
enough.
Yeah,
I played on Laidler or Green Street, you know,
Right.
when the sewer wasn't filled up on the field. We played on
Exact-
Green Street.
Yeah. So you've been a lifelong resident, basically. Why'd you decide to run for selectman?
Well, it wasn't something that happened overnight. It was, you know, Sunday mornings I used to always talk about the local politics with my dad and stuff, and it was always something that interested me, and one thing we always had in common. And then I was talking to Tom Conley, and I was talking him into running the year before, and
I served with Tom
Yes.
for 1 year. Great guy.
yeah, so I knew he was into municipal government, so I was talking him into running, and I ran his campaign. I always saw myself as more of a behind-the-scenes guy, but when I talked him into running, he said, "Absolutely, I'll run as long as you get involved."
Yeah.
You know, he didn't mean run for selectman, but serve on some board or committee, and that's when I joined the Board of Health when they had a couple openings,
Right.
and decided that I should fulfill my end of the bargain. And then when you decided not to run, and Andy decided not to run, I saw an opportunity. We were losing two good selectmen, so that's when I decided to step up and took a chance. And
Good. And you did
but
well.
Yeah, I
you did well.
surprised everybody.
Yeah.
Surprised myself, I should say.
Well.
A lot of people were a lot more confident than I was, but I never saw myself as the
I
candidate.
think the people appreciate it when somebody new gets involved in the town.
Yeah, you saw that in the school committee race last year too.
Absolutely.
And it really invigorated the voters, I think, and really made the community, the younger community, the young parents in town, really get out and voting, and not just vote, but get involved and discuss.
And that's what we need. We need more younger people. What do you think's the key to get people involved?
I think just continue to talk issues. I mean, social media is a good platform for it. We all know it can get ugly at times, and you got to learn when to
Believe me,
step
I know
away.
it can get ugly at times.
Yeah, I bet. But
Just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean it's true.
that's true, and most rational people do realize that.
Right,
But
yeah.
there are the contingency that don't.
Yeah.
But I just talk about the issues and get everybody involved. You know, when you're at school picking up, I mean, people come up to me to talk issues all the time now. But before I was a selectman, you know, if we just talked back and forth and really got involved, people would realize they have more to offer than they think.
Right. And people think that it's a big commitment. Even selectmen's not a big commitment.
It's not.
You know, you have one, maybe two meetings a month, and then you're expected to go to events throughout the town, but you're not out every night, and it doesn't affect your family life. Same with school committee or zoning board. And coming up in probably July 1st, I think the selectmen start doing their appointments again for the year.
Yeah. Usually between July and August, we
Yeah.
get them all out.
So what are some of the boards that the selectmen?
We'll be re-upping people for the Community Preservation Committee, the Conservation Committee, Council on Aging. Sage Committee actually has 5 openings right now.
5.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in the Sage Committee, you can go right on the abington.gov website, and that's a real important committee that does a lot of good for our town. I mean, they were instrumental in us getting the Green Initiative last year, which was a lot of
It
money
was.
for the town.
We got a $164,000 grant once we were designated as a green community. And one of the last things we needed for that was the building code issue that was voted on at the last town meeting. And with that, like I said, we got a $164,000 grant for energy saving lights or energy saving things that we could do in town. So that is a very important board. They worked for years in order to get Abington designated green community.
Yeah, they do, I mean, a lot of good work. Even if you don't consider yourself a greenie or you don't think it's for you, I mean, take a look at actually what work they do, and you'll be surprised.
Well, that's the thing. You don't need any experience to get on any of these boards. Some people think, well, I can't get on the zoning board. I don't know anything about zoning issues or conservation. I got on the Conservation Commission in, I believe it was 1991 or 1992. I had no idea what it did, but I went on as an associate member and went to some classes and learned about it, and I ended up spending 23 years on that board. 15 as chairman, so I still don't know everything about it, but I got a pretty good grasp on it. But my point is, you don't need to be an expert in any of these fields. These are your neighbors and friends and people, and that's what we want. We don't necessarily want experts in every field. It's your town. You should volunteer for boards and have your opinion heard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, different perspectives is how we're going to get things done.
So there's openings for all boards at the beginning of the new year, which is July 1st, the fiscal year. Zoning board, conservation, SAGE, and you can apply for any of these openings now. And they're all up on the website?
Yeah, the openings right now are up on the website, and I did check it today. It's up to date. It's exactly what's opening. There's not a ton of openings right now. Like I said, SAGE, Commission on Disabilities is looking for one, and the Housing Partnership is looking for 3.
Okay. And then coming July 1st, there will be some members of maybe on the zoning board or conservation or whatever. Their terms are up. They may not seek to be reappointed. And you know, please check the website and volunteer.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need new people, new younger people that have a nice perspective to.
All right, one more question here. What do you think was your greatest asset as a selectman? What do you bring to the board?
Well, I think I do bring that new perspective. Is, you know, I'm not as experienced maybe with some of the things.
And that's what I'm saying. You
right,
don't
which
need
kind
to
of
be.
maybe is a good thing. And I also bring the ability to listen, to talk to people, to reach out to different people. I get along with a lot of different people around town, so if I know someone is more experienced with something, I have no problem reaching out and asking for advice. I just today received an email from a resident who had an issue with something we did at our last meeting, and she actually brought up a good point on something that I did, and I said, you know what, that's how I learned. Yeah. So I really encourage people to, you know, check out my Facebook page, Tim Chapin, Abington Selectman. Put down the search bar, my page will pop up. That's one way to stay updated on town things. I always try to put things out there. And also feel free to communicate with me and give me your opinion.
And that's the thing, you know, a lot of people think they can't reach out to a selectman or whatever, but they're all reachable.
I'm a neighbor, you know what I mean? Just like you would not walk across next door and knock on your neighbor's door, feel free to knock on my Facebook,
Right,
you know,
right.
or my door, whatever.
Right. All right, anything you want to add?
No.
All right.
Oh, we're good.
So this next segment is what I call Which One, and I'm going to say 2 things, and you're going to choose which one.
I can only choose one.
You can only choose one.
Oh.
This is just a little fun to give a little more insight to the viewers. And they're really pretty easy.
All right, is there a time limit?
I don't think you'll need a time
All right,
limit.
good.
I don't think they're that difficult.
A little nervous.
All right. Dog or cat?
Cat.
Okay.
Dog.
Dog or
Depends.
cat? I said one.
I know. I'd say dog. Dog. I used to be cat, and I changed.
All
I
right.
flip-flopped.
Well, I know your father was chickens.
Yes, he was
Yeah.
chickens. He was pigs.
Yeah.
We had a dog at one point. We always had a cat.
Yeah. He had about, 15 chickens, I think, when he passed.
Yeah, 15
Yeah,
chickens he had that are living happily on a farm in Hanover right now.
Oh, great.
So
Right.
they found a happy
I
home.
think it was you that I met with
Yep.
to take them, but I had 15 of my own at the time. So, all right. Santa or Easter Bunny? You have kids, so
Santa Claus.
Santa?
Definitely Santa.
You or the kids like Santa better?
I think the kids do too.
Yeah.
But I definitely do.
All right, steak or seafood?
Oh, steak. Steak
Okay.
all day. Rare.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
And I have to ask you this one. Patriots or Red Sox?
Patriots. Not just because the game was just the other day, but it was football's my first love. I do
Okay.
love baseball too. But
Did you
first
play
was my
sports
first
growing up?
love. I did. I played football in high school. I played
For Spelman?
For Spelman.
Oh,
yep.
good. Good.
And like every other kid growing up, I played soccer in the fall, baseball in the spring, basketball in the winter.
Yeah.
And
Now, are your kids involved in sports?
my daughter has absolutely fallen in love with cheerleading.
Really?
My oldest. This was her
That
first year
is
she
so
could do it.
big now.
Yeah, she always liked dance. Growing up, as she's young,
Yeah.
she can do dance. She did cheerleading this year, and she's learned all the cheers now. Her sister knows all the cheers, even though she's not old enough to cheerlead.
Yeah.
She already knows the cheers, and
Yeah, it's unbelievable. My son's niece is really involved in that. She's actually a high school cheerleader now, but I've seen her grow from, I think, 6 years old all the way up, and it's really became a big sport here in the last few years.
yeah,
There's several different groups, I think, in Abington and around.
oh, there had to be 20-something kids in her age group
Wow.
cheering.
Wow.
Absolutely, so it's very popular, and the instructors do an outstanding job.
Great. Well, thanks for being here. And then at this point in the show, I like to advertise upcoming events in and around Abington. And on February 22nd, the Jeffrey Coombs Foundation will be hosting their Caring Hearts Dinner Dance at Emerald Hall. That's right here in Abington on Central Street. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Remillard family, who recently lost their loving husband and father. That was tragic. 3 kids. It was just terrible. Tickets are available at jeffcoombsfund.org. And most of you probably know Christy Coombs' phone number, so you could call her for tickets also. But please support the family. And then on March 24th, my family foundation, the Hug Foundation, we will be hosting our 8th annual Bruins alumni hockey game at the Rockland Ice Rink. Tickets are available at hugfoundationma.org. And they're also available at Rockland Ice Rink. And if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see a link for an event there, and you can purchase tickets on Eventbrite. Tickets are only $15 for adults and $5 for kids 12 and under. This is a great event. If you've ever been there, you know it's a great event. The Bruins alumni come out between periods. They sign autographs, take pictures with everyone. There's an after party at the Polish Club. And this year is a special year for us. We had one of our skaters and one of our biggest supporters passed away suddenly at the age of 50. So we are dedicating this game to him. We'll be retiring his number. And because we're doing that, 2 former Bruins great, Ray Bork and Rick Middleton, will be coming down, along with about 10 other Bruins greats. So we hope you join us on March 24th for that. And like I said earlier, also, if you have an idea for a show, please email me at alexbazanton@yahoo.com. And if you'd like to do your own show or volunteer at Abington Community Access, please reach out to Justin at abingtoncam.org. This studio belongs to the residents of Abington, and we encourage you to get involved. You can do any show you want here. We'll teach you how to use the cameras. We'll teach you how to take a camera, and you can take it to your daughter's cheerleading and film it, and then we could air that program. So
She would watch it over and over.
well, there you go. So anyway, get involved. Reach out to Justin at abingtoncam.org. So that concludes this episode of In and Around Abington. Thank you to my guest, Tim Chapin, and thank you all for watching. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks for having me.